Hello and welcome back to Suspense. I'm your host, Dennis Bithoulkas, and it's time for Doom Patrol Season 2, Episode 4, Sex Patrol. There we go. Sex Patrol. Welcome, everybody. Let me take care of some business first, and then we will get down to it. If you like what you see here, like, share, and subscribe. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, you're going to see a video pop up here at the end of this video. And basically, what YouTube does takes the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching and tries to match them as best as possible. One of the videos, my vast video library, and pops them up there just for you. Up here is going to be Is It Worth My Time? Winona Earp is what's going to be up there. If you want to know when I'm be on live again next, you can hit the bell down below. It's a 50-50 chance of YouTube actually notifying you. Best thing to do is go to suspendedfanimation.com. Take a look at the schedule up there. I change it out every week. And also all the links to my social media are on there. So Twitter, Instagram, and Patreon. No tier setup as available on the Patreon. Wait until I hit 1,000 subscribers, and then I'll do some stuff there. I also have the links to this YouTube channel, my Facebook page, and a Facebook group page, which you guys can post stuff on and chat amongst yourselves. All right. With that said, spoiler alert, I am going to spoil the episode. If you have not seen the episode, go and watch it. Come on back. This will be a video you can comment down below in the comment section. Thank you, Viking Bitch, for the paddle. All right. So this is the Doom Patrol that I remember. This wackiness, this craziness that we've got going on. And hey, Marks, how's it going? The nuttiness of what's happening here. Basically, we're getting a party, if you will, a wellness party for Danny the Brick, because of course Danny the Brick is broken in half. Dorothy dropped him accidentally in the last episode, and they need a little healing. So of course, who comes to the door but Flex Mentallo, morally corrupt, and the rest of the Dannysons, who have been out in the world for the last month because, Danny is now a brick. He's not a street. So they've been out on their own, and they've come to help Danny heal. In the meantime, I mean, we've gotten a little bit of flashbacks too. We've seen that Dorothy was basically, for intents and purposes, she was essentially a prisoner in Danny for almost 100 years. And, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. And we see that Danny had some reservations about this. Niles does not. And so this episode is not just about healing, it's also about recognizing what needs to be healed. So all these episodes all have themes to it. We know this. This is the way things are. So it is that's what's going on, is you're trying to have a healing going on both physically, mentally, and then also recognize what needs to be healed as well. And in the case of like Larry and Cliff, it's them being really shitty fucking parents. Also, Chief as well. Niles is a very shitty parent as well and doesn't really realize this. Dorothy, in the meantime, has been pretty much, for the most part, mentally arrested, if you will. Even though she's 100 years old, 103 quarters, and she still thinks she keeps calling herself 11 years old because that is where she is physically stunted, but she really isn't that age. And stuff needs to move. And Rita is also physically stunted, or not, excuse me, emotionally stunted as well, because of a mental block that's happening that she asked for Flex Mentallo's help on through orgasm experimentation. And it's due to this orgasm that Flex gives her that she realizes that she has a memory that's being blocked, and she wants to get rid of that. She wants to remove that block so she can find out what the fuck this memory is, because Rita has been around long enough where she is something that, she wants to heal, is what it is. She wants to heal. And the others aren't really at that stage at the moment. And then we got Jane. Jane has been pulled down into the underground from the others in her mind, because she hasn't left. And the reason why she hasn't left is because she finds Doom Manor and Chief being a place where she can heal and also where she can protect Kay. And the others just don't realize this. And as they're sending others up there from the underground to become the primary, they are failing fucking miserably. I mean, the hangman's daughter thinks everything's going to be hunky dory if she just goes off and paints until Cliff tells her, well, what are you going to do for food? What are you going to do to pay rent? And she goes, I don't know. I just paint. That's my job, kind of thing. And yeah. And Scarlet Harlot also, can't handle that shit either. The doctor, the good doctor comes out as well, and she can't even handle that shit either. So yeah, there's a lot of healing that needs to go on within this group still. And even Cyborg, he comes back because he was out in Detroit, and we'll get to him, as I go along here. But and I love this line by Cliff when he's talking about coming back with his tail between his legs, and he says, "I thought I could be a better father than Old Man Mangala," which I mean, pretty much sums things up. Is how much of a fuck up do you need to be a worse father than Niles Calder, who's had over 100 years to deal with this, and yet has fucked up everything all along the way, and still has no idea to how to be a father to Dorothy. Yeah, there's just some really fucked up potential here. But going back to Rita's orgasm, so Flex Mentallo, of course, is helping Rita work through her mental block, and this orgasm that she's having actually attracts a sex demon. This is what I love about these episodes. I mean, about Doom Patrol in and of itself. The shadowy Mr. Evans is what he's called. And of course, he's attracted to the energy that Rita is giving off because she's giving off a hell of a lot more energy than anybody else is at this point. And as a result of this, he's sucking in that sexual energy, which is forming a baby within the shadowy Mr. Evans. And if he gives birth to that baby and that baby cries, that'll be the end of every child on Earth. And then basically, Earth becomes an adults only sexpocalypse, a hellish sexpocalypse landscape, as our new group who shows up, the Sex Men, tell us. And the sex men arrive in the sex machine, and it's kiss, torture, and cuddles. There are sex ghosts. There are, just sexual energy flying around. And I mean, this again is what I come to Doom Patrol for. This is the craziness that I want to see. This is shit I don't get anywhere else on TV. This is the kind of stuff I want to see. I don't know about you guys out there, but this is something different. This is, again, something that is so far out there and yet enjoyable and actually makes some kind of sense to me, anyway. Um, I don't know what you guys thought about it, but I really fucking enjoyed it. And of course, it takes, and I love that Cliff is high on ecstasy because he and Chief talked briefly about how much of a fuck up it was that he did it in Florida, meeting his daughter Clara, and he just wants to get out of his head for a little while. He just can't, is what Cliff says. And Niles goes, "Well, I could throw some ecstasy in your tank if you want." And Cliff's like, "All right, sure." And he's partying and stuff like that. And he is so fucking high that when it comes down to it, he doesn't know what to do to go and take care of the sex demon, because he's the only one that can't have an orgasm, of course. So he's the likely one to go into Rita's room, which Flex has made the entire room a orgasm zone. Keep your nose to the wall. Keep your nose on the dot. That's right. And yeah, and it gets crazy from there. And then of course, Hammerhead is the one that saves the day. Hammerhead comes in, multiple orgasms, and shoves that baby right back into the shadowy Mr. Evans, and it disappears. And of course, the sex men are left to clean up the sex ghosts. And yes, I do like saying sex ghost, sexpocalypse, sexcapades, what have you. I did notice from the promos that it looked like Scarlet Harlot at one point had a scene that's been cut, and I hopefully it comes out in some kind of extras or something like that. But it was Scarlet Harlot up on the stage within Danny. Danny has opened up a club within the Doom Manor as he's healing, or as it's healing, and she actually sings "Give Me Fever," and that was in the promos. You actually see it in the promos, but it's nowhere to be found in this episode, and I'm kind of disappointed in that. I want to see this hopefully someplace else, because I almost used that as a thumbnail. Is Scarlet Harlot up on stage with the "Gimme Fever" karaoke going on behind her? Why? Because one musical number is not enough for me. Yes, we did have Pure Imagination as sung by young Dorothy there, and I don't know about you. I really love Willy Wonka too. Pure Imagination. Whenever I hear that song, the only person I can ever, whoever is in my head singing it, is Gene Wilder. It's that's. But then again, I grew up with that movie. Every holiday, every major holiday, that thing would be on TV, and yeah, I'd watch it. That, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, and what was the other one? There was like three movies that were on all the time. So yeah, for me, Pure Imagination, I always hear Gene Wilder's voice. Yeah. And we even had a little bit of talk from Maura Lee, uh telling Cyborg, if you find love and it's a good place, stay there, kind of thing. And she asked him why he came back from Detroit. And yeah. So, because he was talking a little bit about his uh experience with Ronnie, what happened and all that kind of stuff. So yeah. Josh Corbin's rendition is okay. Who's Josh Corbin? I don't know. Well, okay. Ah, yeah, I thought we were gonna have a lot more singing numbers too in this one. I mean, come on, it's Danny, for God's sakes. And Danny at the very end. So that's the other revelation too, is that Dorothy, the candle maker, is talking to her quite a bit more than, and she even says, "You're talking a lot more than you used to. And normally you're quiet." And Candlemaker is telling her, you shouldn't be in a prison anymore, kind of thing. And Danny is the prison, and is kind of almost forcing her to go and kill Danny the brick with an ice pick at one point. And she just asked Danny flat out, "Talk to me as an adult. Were you my friend, or were you my prison?" And Danny's basically, his response is that he was both, or it was both. I forget. Danny does not use he as a pronoun. It's a different pronoun altogether. So yeah. So Danny basically tells Niles when when it starts healing that you know there's no way I'm going to make Dorothy a prisoner again. And so Danny ends up, instead of becoming a street, becomes a tire when Danny heals up there, and takes all the Dannysons with him, and does a cleanup fucking thing after that party. Um, and of course, at the very end, Rita, who's actually had the mental block of her mother sleeping with a producer in order to get her first acting gig as a child, and she saw this, and that's kind of what broke her a bit. Um, she gives Dorothy some really bad advice. I mean, because Dorothy asked her, were you truthful when you told me I was beautiful?" And she says the hurtful thing that her mother always told her, which was, just go with your strengths, kind of thing. You have other talents, just go with those things instead. Because of course she's very post orgasmic at this point and ready to just fall asleep. And Dorothy turns to Candlemaker at this point, and Candlemaker's pissed because, of course, she didn't listen to him, And Candlemaker's like, go and talk to your little girlfriends, is what Candlemaker says. And so, yeah. And also, everybody within the Doom Patrol here, um, as you know, Larry actually asks Vic, he says, hey, why did you come back? Or why did you go to Detroit? And he goes, well, I didn't want this trauma to define me because I wanted to get over it. And he goes, so you had to leave to heal? And he says, yes, which puts this idea in Larry's head. You know, Jane has been leaving all this time in order to heal, so of course she's ready to come back. She's done all of that. Larry has not. Rita has not. Neither has Cliff. Vic has now left and come back and healed, and that's kind of what they need to do a little bit. Is they need to leave, confront their past, and heal, and that's pretty much what it comes down to. And yes, Cliff has left and confronted his past, but he did it in a really shitty way, and he also tried to force the whole issue instead of re-examining what he did to Clara as a child. Because even Larry tells him they're Cliff's on ecstasy and is trying to talk to Larry and says, yeah, children fuck you up. And Larry's like, no, children don't fuck us up. We are the fuck ups. And then our children deal with the aftermath of all of that. And that's again what this whole show is all about. This whole episode is about them having to, you know, go through these traumas, deal with them, recognize them for what they are, and then heal from them. So there you go. That's something you don't get in the show every day. So now they laid that all on you. I don't know if anyone watched the preview for next week's episode for Finger Patrol. But that looks like it's going to be a lot of fun because, well, Larry goes and meets the grandkids. Cliff and Vic, it looks like they're going to go and fight crime. And Baby Doll gets to meet Dorothy and have playtime. And we'll see what happens with that. So it looks like it's going to be an interesting time next week as well. But yeah, good episode this week. This was kind of a cathartic episode, I think. It was something that we needed. The first 3 episodes were kind of, and I can see why now they dumped them all at once. The first 3 episodes is you had to kind of get through those. They were all about the trauma and everything being bottled up. And then the 4th episode was the release of this trauma and them healing from it and possibly becoming a fucking team now at this point. And my favorite line in this episode, I think, has to be Cliff drawn out. What the fuck? That is still probably my favorite line out of all of this. Yeah, you like this one too, Morks. Yeah. Oh, man. In the fucking Sexman, man. With Cuddles and the sex machine. Talking to the doctor about his first time getting off on the Cuddles, the porcupine toy, because he didn't know what an orgasm was because he was a late bloomer. And I mean, shit, man, this was some good stuff. This was some really good stuff, all within a small amount of time. It was only an hour, but it felt like a movie. It really did. It was so damn good. Ah, yeah. So, with that said, what else do I have going on this week? Tomorrow, I'm off because there's no new stuff going on, and you know, all these streaming services are being chintzy with their what they do have in the can and when they're going to release them and stuff like that. And if you think Netflix would actually think about this stuff and release shit, an episode a week instead of all at once, It'd be a lot better. But Saturday is going to be Saturday morning blast off where I take the genre news of the week and any of the genre stuff you guys want to talk about, and we talk about it. Sunday, I'm off. Monday is going to be Stargirl. That's right. Stargirl is on Monday. Tuesday is another episode of Is It Worth My Time? I don't know what I'm doing as of yet. I will figure something out. Wednesday, I'm off. And then Thursday rolls back around to Doom Patrol. Finger Patrol is what it's going to be. And I can't believe we only have 9 episodes of this season 2, and we're already on episode 4. I mean, this is going to go really fucking fast. Really, really, really fast. As Cliff says, what the fuck? That's pretty much what, yeah, my feelings exactly. So, let me plug a little bit more and then I'll let you guys go. If you like what you see, like, share, and subscribe. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the video at the very end here of this video. And if you like what you see there, hit the subscribe button. If you want to know when I'll be on live again next, you get the bell down below. It's a 50-50 chance of YouTube actually notifying you. Best thing to do is go to suspendedfanimation.com. Take a look at the schedule up there, and the links to all my social media is up there as well. So, thank you, everybody who joined me tonight in the chat. Thank you if you made it this far in the video. And you can play it at half speed if you really want to get the gist of everything that's going on. Yeah, have a safe 4th of July. No social. I'm actually going to be broadcasting on the 4th of July anyway, so we'll go through all of that. Remember, wear a mask, wash your fucking hands, keep 6 feet or 2 meters apart from people, so you're not catching anything, and fucking stay indoors for the most part. I mean, only go out when it's necessary. This shit's bad, especially here in the United States right now. Thanks, everybody. I will see you on Saturday for Saturday Morning Blast Off. Until then, have a good one. Have a good Friday, and I will see you Saturday. Don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, you may have an infestation of sex demons, and good for you if you're, putting out that much kind of sexual energy. Thanks, everybody. I will see you on Saturday. Until then, stay safe and have a good one. Night.